Hey guys, welcome back. Alex here with a new video. It's been almost a month since I last posted, so this is definitely overdue. I want to thank you so much for the incredible year last year. I think it was fantastic and I enjoy meeting people here in the community quite a lot and making new connections. So I'm hoping that 2026 will be something similar and perhaps even better. 2025 has been treating us people, collectors I guess, very nicely. We've had releases like the box set for Ninja Turtles, Ice Wide Shut on 4K, The Mask, Spawn, Mouse Hunt, and so many others that I can't recall right now. Anyhow, 2026 is already starting pretty good. We are at the end of the month, you can say, and we already have titles released like Babe, I believe, 1 and 2, and Snakes on a Plane. I believe they also announced other bangers like A Beautiful Mind, Mimic, Ben-Hur, and many others. And I think there's still room for more. So this is why I came up with this list. It's probably not perfect, but those are the titles that I personally would like to see the most. So if you guys have followed this channel before, you know that I'm currently on a buying freeze. And if you guys are new to this channel, yes, I am on a buying freeze. I bought too many titles between December and November of last year during the sales. And I ended up with a huge backlog of over 50 titles. So I'm currently taking a little break of 180 days, something like that. And I'm currently on day 56. And during this break, I've been, watching some of the titles, so going through the backlog. But I've also been going through my shelves and I tried to figure out, is there some titles that I'm missing? Are there titles that I'm missing? What is a title that a studio could release that I would buy on day one and maybe even break my buying freeze? And the answer is yes. I actually came up with 10 titles. Well, a little bit over 10. And actually, there's probably way more than that. But I decided to stick with mostly 10 titles that I'll be discussing in this video. So let's get into it and let's get started. One of the first titles that I would buy on 4K right away is probably Inspector Gadget. This is a movie that I grew up watching as a kid many times on VHS over and over again. And I think it would really benefit from a 4K upgrade for many reasons. Visually, I think it's a great movie and I think the special effects still were holding up pretty nicely. I think it's a good movie for families. And I think it's also one of those good movies that you can watch late at night because it's very short. It's 70 or 80 minutes, so you can watch it and you don't have to worry about falling asleep or that kind of stuff. Because as I've been going through my backlog, one of the challenges that I'm noticing is some of these movies are damn too long, like 2 hours, 2 hours and a half. And when I get the free time to actually sit down and watch something, it's late and I can't be watching like long movies. So something like this, I think it would be a great fit for, for filling that gap, if you may say so. And I actually think it would be a great double feature if they paired it with the sequel. Now, the sequel is very infamous and a lot of people don't like it, me included. I think it's very silly, but I think it's still a fun watch to watch with your kids and that sort of stuff. I think 4K releases are great, but most of the times the titles seem to be tailored to older audiences, and the titles for, families and kids are, I wouldn't say non-existent, but they're definitely on the slim side. So this too, I think, would be great additions. And it's perhaps something that, can get the younger audiences back into it. Well, the holidays just finished, but I'm still in a Christmas mood, and believe it or not, my Christmas tree is still up. And that's why I picked this other title, which is The Santa Claus. This was a great movie when I was growing up and I was watching, Christmas movies. I think this movie still holds up very well, and it's way better. It's way better than most of the new Christmas movies that the studios and the streaming services put out there. And there's a reason this one is still a classic after, 20 or 30 years since it came out. I think 30 probably. It's a crime that it doesn't exist on 4K. There is a Blu-ray release which every year I do want to buy, but then at the same time I'm like, you know what, maybe this is the year where it comes out on 4K. It hasn't happened yet. Hopefully 2026 is the year where my wish comes true. But I think this one and the sequels will look great on 4K, especially the sequels. I think the first one will look good because it still has the the film look, with the grain and everything. The second one specifically, and maybe even the third one, would benefit from HDR and Dolby Vision, where you could get the Christmas colors really popping and showing on your TV screen. So this one, the Santa Claus, if there is a triple pack on 4K, I would definitely buy it on day one. Sticking with the family titles, I have two more, and they are Osmosis Jones and Looney Tunes Back in Action. Again, just like Inspector Gadget and the Santa Claus, these are some titles that I remember growing up with, especially watching them on TV and taping it off the VCR and that kind of stuff. I recently rewatched those not that long ago, maybe like last month, and I think they still hold up pretty good, even though some titles I'm aware they have they have some controversial themes. But I think overall, in the greater scheme of things, those are titles that would benefit from a 4K upgrade. I think especially Osmosis Jones. I'm talking about the animated sequences. I think those with some color correcting and with some, HDR and maybe even Dolby Vision color grading, I think they could do wonders to the movie and they can make it feel more alive. And I think people watching them would feel like kids again, but that's just me maybe, I don't know. The other one that I mentioned is Looney Tunes Back in Action. I am a little bit more hopeful with this title because I think Space Jam is also in 4K already. And from my understanding, the other Looney Tune movie that I'm completely blanking on it right now, what is it called? The Pigs, Porky's, and Daffy one. I'll just show you the thumbnail, it'll be much quicker. So this movie did okay in theaters, if I'm not mistaken. I think it still lost money, but the home video release, at least with the people that I'll talk to, sold out very fast. This year, we're getting a new Warner Brothers / Looney Tunes movie, which is Coyote versus Acme. And if that movie does well and is able to, bring back interest into the Looney Tunes universe, then I can see why the studio would bring this title out on 4K. I watched it, the story was fine. I can see how the CGI could be a little bit outdated, but overall I think it's still a great candidate for a 4K release. So as you can tell, the stack is very family oriented, but I've got some titles for adults and grown-ups as well. I think the first one that I'm gonna be picking is probably Tango and Cash. So this movie, as far as I understand it, is very hard to find on DVD and Blu-ray. I was lucky to find this one from my local dealer, but a standalone Blu-ray for Tango and Cash is actually way more expensive than just getting this triple pack. Speaking about the movie and why I think it should be on 4K, I believe it should be on 4K because it's a classic. It's a classic that unfortunately has gone forgotten. This is the last movie from the 80s. It's packed with comedy and action and explosions and all that sort of thing. And it's shot on film, so you know it. Everything that is shot on film looks just gorgeous on 4K.
Who the fuck you think you are?
He thinks he's Rambo.
Rambo is a pussy. What do you know? It's snowing.
Another title that seems to be forgotten, even my local dealer, not my drug dealer, but my DVD / Blu-ray dealer, is Taps. I actually asked him if he had this one on Blu-ray or DVD, and he told me it was out of print and they couldn't order it. But then the funny thing is that a few months after, I went to the store and he actually had a sealed copy that it was only selling for $3. So I snatched it right away. I don't know if I'll open it. Maybe one day I will, but for now I'll keep it sealed because I watched it semi-recently, so I don't see myself rewatching it soon. But anyway, I am digressing a little bit. I think this movie deserves a 4K because it's a movie starring an ensemble cast with Tom Cruise and Sean Penn, which, you know, ended up having some great careers down the road. And it's kind of like sad, in my opinion, that, you know, this is one of the movies that launched them both, but the audiences seem to have forgotten it. Maybe I'm forgetting to mention other reasons why I think Taps should be on a 4K. But personally speaking, just to pay an homage to, you know, the work that Sean Penn and Tom Cruise and many other people behind the movie have done, I think it deserves the recognition that, unfortunately, I don't think it's really getting these days. Another movie that I think deserves a 4K treatment is John Q. This is a Denzel Washington classic. I think this actually might have been my first introduction to him. The movie has a great cast as well, with James Wood and Robert Duvall, so it's a pretty loaded cast. It's got a great story, and for the way that things are going, this is probably like a timeless piece of some sorts. But I think the grimy look of film will look great on 4K, and I think we need more dramatic movies on 4K as well. So yeah, so far I've been mentioning family movies and some drama movies. I think the 4K format needs more movies like that. A lot of the movies that I usually see released are action flicks and horror flicks, which are usually the best sellers. But it would be nice to see a variety, diversification in content, because I think that could help the 4K content, the 4K format, to be more prominent and more relevant. But I have a different video coming up for that one soon, so if you're intrigued by this, just hit the subscribe button, like the videos, and stay tuned because there's more. But let's go back to my top 10 list. There's still a few titles that I need to mention, and there's 3 titles I believe that I still need to mention, and those 3 titles I actually don't own on any formats. The first one that I would mention is probably Magnolia. I don't know if it came across already in the past or not, but I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan. And I think this is one of his titles that, alongside Taps, deserves a 4K treatment, maybe even more so than Taps. Probably a lot of people would agree on this statement. We recently got Eyes Wide Shut, like I said earlier, so I think this one is getting closer and closer. I may even stop recording and the studios would announce it, but we'll see, fingers crossed. Anyways, I think just like for Eyes Wide Shut, I think the filmy, grainy look will look great on 4K. I think some of the scenes, especially the frog one, will look pretty nice. And I think it's a movie that, even the newer generations should embrace. And yeah, I think doing a 4K release is just, a way to keep the movie breathing, I guess, if I may say so. The other movie that I thought would come out last year is Superman Returns. So Superman Returns is, it's forgotten. Nobody talks about it. Nobody remembers it. Very few people out there seem to like it, but I think I like it quite a bit. It was a very nice adaptation. Maybe even better than Don't Kill Me, the one that came out last year. I enjoyed the one that came out last year, but I think the one from 2006 is way closer to the Christopher Reeve adaptation, and I think it's a great movie to enjoy with families. I think the Zack Snyder is more towards adults. The one that came out this year or last year, sorry, is more for like the teenage audience. But if you have like young kids and you want to introduce them to Superman, I would say the Superman Returns or the original ones with Christopher Reeve are probably a better introduction. But I'm no parent, so I'm not gonna say more than that. But let's stick to the movie talk and the more technical discussion. I'm not very technical. I think Superman Returns would benefit from a 4K because when it first came out, people were saying the movie was very flat color-wise, and I can kind of see that. So I know that the movie was shot natively on 2K, so you can't really do a remaster out of a 4K. You can't really do a 4K remaster out of a 2K, but you can do a upscale. So I think between the upscaling and the color correction with some nice HDR or Dolby Vision would fix the flat colors and would make the movie pop again. So hopefully Warner Brothers is listening to us and it's gonna make it happen, because they did a really good job with the Christopher Reeve movies. I know all the new Superman movies are on 4K, so this is literally the only one, as far as I know, that is missing on 4K. So what are we waiting for? Give us this one and also give us Supergirl, which is, I guess, like an honorable mention. Supergirl, the one from the 80s, not the one that still has to come out. And now, last but not least, I think my last mention is Idiocracy. Idiocracy is a cult classic that a lot of people seem to love, including me. It went completely under the radar when it first came out. I first watched it on TV and I fell in love with it right away. And I try to revisit it every once in a while. It is currently locked behind Disney+. Disney is really holding on to this 20th century title. And I think it's really time to, let it out in the wild on a 4K format. I think the DVD and the Blu-ray are kind of hard to find as well. I've never seen them in the wild, and I actually never even looked into it, because I think it's something that I would like to own on a proper 4K format. And I think if the studio treats it as Dogma and they do a nice, release, I think it would sell very well. I think the movie didn't age at all. I think it's today more relevant than ever, probably, and give it a good treatment and I think people will probably buy it. So yes, this was my top 10 list of movies that I would like to see on 4K. I know it was actually more than 10 because I included, a lot of sequels and that kind of stuff, but you get it. You get the gist of it. I know that I also skipped on a lot of movies. I've seen other YouTubers doing this, so I try to do movies that I usually don't see on, other channels. But I would agree with many YouTubers when they say like movies like Flubber, movies like LA Confidential, Ed Wood, Muppets Treasure Island or something like that. There is literally so many to mention, but I think we're getting there. It's been only like maybe 2 years that I've been getting more and more into the 4K format, and each year seems to be better than the last one. Like I said earlier, 2025 was great, 2026 is starting even better. So we'll see. I think the studios are, listening to us, and I think it's only, a matter of a question before I can start crossing off these items off my list, and many people out there can probably cross off theirs as well. So I'm very excited, and I'm very positive about the future, and I think our shelves will look even fuller and fuller, and we probably have to all get storage rooms to store all of these goodies. Let me know what's one title that you really want to see on 4K, and drop it down in the comments. I'm really looking forward to, have a little chat with you people. I always enjoy having a little interaction with the audience, with you people. And I'm looking forward to more videos like this one, more live streams and things like that. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like the video and share with your friends. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.